Maya walked slowly into the forest early in the morning. She wanted silence and fresh air after many sleepless nights. Life in the small town had begun to feel heavy for her. The forest nearby was known as a safe place where people went to clear their minds. Maya wore simple clothes and carried a small bag. Inside the bag were water, a snack, and her phone. She believed she would return home before the sun reached high in the sky. At first the path was clear and easy to follow. Tall trees stood on both sides of the trail. Sunlight passed through the leaves and painted soft patterns on the ground. Birds moved between branches and the air smelled fresh. Maya felt calm and relaxed for the first time in weeks. After walking for some time, she noticed fewer trail signs. She thought nothing of it and continued forward. Her phone showed weak signal, but she did not worry. She trusted her sense of direction. Minutes passed and the forest grew quieter. The birds were no longer singing. The wind moved gently but felt colder. Maya stopped and looked around. The path she remembered was no longer clear. There were many similar-looking turns. Trees looked the same in every direction. A small feeling of fear entered her chest. Maya took a deep breath and stayed calm. She remembered that panic only makes things worse. She decided to walk slowly and observe carefully. Her shoes pressed softly against dry leaves. As she moved deeper, the forest floor changed. Leaves became fewer and the ground felt harder. The air felt heavier and darker shadows surrounded her. That was when she noticed something unusual ahead. Between thick bushes she saw shapes that looked wrong. They were large and square. At first she thought they were rocks. But rocks do not have straight edges. Maya moved closer step by step. Her heart beat faster with every step. The shapes were wooden crates. They were covered with green cloth and dirt. Leaves were tied carefully across the surface. Mud was spread evenly as if done on purpose. Someone had tried very hard to hide these crates. This was not random or careless work. Maya reached out and touched one crate. It felt solid and cold. She pulled her hand back quickly. Fear mixed with curiosity inside her. She looked around to see if anyone was nearby. The forest stood still. No voices and no footsteps. Only silence surrounded her. Maya thought about leaving immediately. Something about the crates felt dangerous. Her mind told her to walk away. But her eyes stayed fixed on the strange objects. She noticed a small metal latch near the base of one crate. It was partly buried under soil and leaves. She bent down slowly to see it clearly. Her hands trembled without her control. As she touched the latch, her foot slipped. She almost fell forward. The lid shifted slightly open. A narrow space appeared at the top. Maya froze. Her breathing became shallow. She knew she should close it and leave. Yet curiosity pulled her closer. She carefully lifted the lid just a little more. The smell inside was clean and sharp. Inside were many sealed packages. They were packed neatly and evenly. Each package had numbers printed clearly. Bright yellow tape crossed over them. The sight made her uneasy. This did not look like normal storage. Then her eyes caught something that made her heart race. On one package were 3 bold letters. She recognized them instantly. FBI. Maya stepped back in shock. Her thoughts rushed through her mind. Why would items linked to the FBI be hidden in a forest? Who placed them here and why? She closed the lid quickly and wiped her hands on her clothes. Fear replaced curiosity completely. This was far beyond her understanding. She knew she should not be there. A sound echoed behind her. A branch snapped sharply. Maya turned around fast. Her heart felt like it would burst. She saw nothing but trees and shadows. Still, the feeling of being watched was strong. Someone or something was nearby. The forest no longer felt peaceful. Maya took a step back slowly. She tried to stay quiet. Her eyes searched for movement between trees. Her ears listened for another sound. Her phone suddenly vibrated in her pocket. She pulled it out with shaking hands. For a moment the screen showed signal. Then a message appeared. Unknown number. Leave the area now. Maya stared at the screen in disbelief. Her blood ran cold. Someone knew she was there. Someone was watching her. She looked up again at the forest. The crates stood silently behind her. Fear filled her entire body. She knew this walk had changed her life forever. Maya stood still after reading the message on her phone. Her hands shook and her mouth felt dry. She looked at the screen again to be sure it was real. The words did not disappear. She placed the phone back into her pocket slowly. Her mind told her to run, but her legs felt heavy. The forest around her seemed closer than before. Every tree felt like it was leaning in to listen. Maya turned away from the crates and chose a direction. She decided to walk fast but not panic. She remembered that loud movement could draw attention. Her steps were careful and quiet. The forest path was no longer clear. Bushes scratched her arms as she passed. Branches hung low and blocked her view. Sunlight struggled to reach the ground. Her thoughts raced as she walked. She wondered who sent the message. She wondered how they knew where she was. She wondered if more people were nearby. After several minutes, she heard something behind her. It was soft and slow. Leaves shifted gently. It sounded like footsteps matching her pace. Maya stopped suddenly. The sound stopped too. Her heart beat loudly in her ears. She waited and listened. Nothing moved. No sound followed. The silence felt heavy again. She continued walking faster than before. The ground began to slope downward. Her shoes slipped on loose soil. She grabbed a tree trunk to steady herself. Her breathing became quick and shallow. Ahead she saw something familiar. It was a narrow stream cutting through the forest. She remembered crossing it earlier. Hope filled her chest. She followed the stream carefully. Water moved gently over smooth stones. The sound helped calm her nerves. She believed the trail was not far now. Suddenly she noticed marks on the ground. They looked like tire tracks. They were fresh and clear. Vehicles had been here recently. Maya stopped again. Why would vehicles enter this deep forest? The crates came back into her thoughts. Everything felt connected now. Her phone vibrated again. She froze instantly. Slowly she took it out. Another message appeared. Do not follow the stream. Turn left now. Maya felt fear rise sharply. She looked around in confusion. How could someone see her exact movement? Her chest felt tight. She did not reply. Instead she looked around carefully. To her left the trees were thick and dark. The path looked rough and dangerous. To her right the stream continued peacefully. Her instinct told her to keep going forward. But the message echoed in her mind. Someone was guiding her. She made a quick decision. She turned left into the thicker trees. Branches scratched her face and arms. The ground became uneven and rocky. After walking for some time she felt tired. Her legs ached and her throat felt dry. She stopped near a large fallen tree. She sat down quietly to rest. As she caught her breath she noticed something strange. The fallen tree had been cut cleanly. The edges were smooth. It was not broken by nature. She looked around and saw more signs. Ropes tied loosely between trees. Small markers carved into bark. Someone had created a hidden route here. Maya felt a strange mix of fear and understanding. This forest was not empty. It was being used secretly. The crates were only part of it. She stood up slowly and continued forward. Soon she saw a small structure ahead. It looked like a shed made of metal and wood. It blended into the forest perfectly. Maya stopped behind a tree. She watched carefully. The door of the shed was slightly open. Light came from inside. She heard voices but could not hear words. They sounded calm and controlled. No shouting and no panic. This made her even more uneasy. She took a step back slowly. Her foot pressed on a dry branch. It snapped loudly. The voices stopped instantly. The shed door closed. Footsteps moved inside. Maya turned and ran quietly. Her heart felt like it would jump out. She did not know where she was going now. She only knew she had to escape. The forest blurred as she moved quickly. Fear pushed her forward. After running for a long time, she reached a clearing. The trees opened suddenly. Sunlight filled the space. She fell to her knees exhausted. In the distance she saw a road. A narrow dirt road, but still a road. Relief washed over her body. She stood up and moved toward it. As she reached the edge, her phone vibrated once more. She did not want to look. But she did. "You did well. Do not speak about this to anyone." Maya stared at the message. Her fear slowly turned into confusion. Whoever was watching her had let her go. But the warning was clear. She stepped onto the road and did not look back. The forest stood silent behind her. She knew her life would never be the same. The secret she had seen would follow her forever. Maya walked along the dirt road until her legs felt weak. The sun was lower now, and the light looked softer. Every sound made her turn her head quickly. She felt like the forest was still watching her. After some time she reached the edge of town. Small houses appeared one by one. Smoke rose from chimneys and people moved normally. Life looked peaceful, as if nothing strange existed nearby. Maya slowed her steps and tried to act normal. She did not want to draw attention. Her clothes were dirty and her face showed fear. She pulled her jacket tighter around herself. She reached her house and unlocked the door quickly. Once inside she closed it and locked it firmly. Her back rested against the door as she breathed deeply. She was safe for now. Maya washed her face and hands slowly. Cold water helped calm her racing thoughts. She looked at herself in the mirror. Her eyes showed fear and confusion. She tried to tell herself it was over. She was home and unharmed. But her mind kept returning to the crates. The letters she saw would not leave her thoughts. That night Maya could not sleep. Every small sound made her sit up. The wind against the window felt threatening. Her phone lay beside her the whole time. She expected another message. But the screen stayed silent. This silence felt worse than the warnings. She did not know what to expect next. The next morning Maya went to work as usual. She worked at a small library near the town center. Books usually helped her feel calm. Today they felt heavy and distant. People spoke to her, but she barely heard them. Her mind stayed somewhere deep in the forest. She kept seeing the crates and the hidden shed. She wondered how many people were involved. Around midday, a man entered the library. He looked simple and calm. He wore plain clothes and carried no bag. Nothing about him stood out. He walked slowly through the shelves. Then he stopped near the desk where Maya sat. He picked up a book and opened it. His voice was quiet when he spoke. "You should not have returned alone to the forest." Maya froze. Her eyes lifted slowly. The man did not look at her directly. He kept reading as if nothing was wrong. Maya felt her heart beat faster. She wanted to call for help. But something stopped her. The man spoke again softly. "You were not meant to find those crates. But now you know." Maya swallowed hard. She forced herself to speak calmly. "Who are you?" she asked. The man finally looked at her. His eyes were steady and serious. "I am someone making sure things stay controlled," he said quietly. He closed the book and placed it back. "You are not in danger right now. But silence is important." Maya felt anger rise inside her fear. Why were those things hidden in the forest? She asked. The man paused for a moment. Some operations require isolation. Not everything can be visible. Maya shook her head slowly. People could get hurt. She said. The man nodded once. That is why we watch closely. That is why you are still safe. He stepped back from the desk. You will forget what you saw, he said calmly. Maya knew she could not forget. That forest was now part of her life. She watched as the man walked out. No one else noticed him leaving. That evening Maya sat alone at home. She replayed the conversation again and again. She felt like a piece in a larger game. A game she did not choose. Her phone buzzed on the table. She jumped slightly before picking it up. A new message appeared. We know you are thinking. Thinking leads to questions. Questions lead to risk. Maya felt fear and anger mixed together. She typed a reply slowly. What do you want from me? The response came quickly. Nothing. Live your life. Stay away from the forest. Maya placed the phone down. She did not feel relief. She felt trapped. Over the next few days she noticed changes. A car parked near her house often. Different people appeared at familiar places. They watched without staring. Maya realized she was being monitored. Not threatened but controlled. Her freedom felt smaller each day. One evening while closing the library she found an envelope. It was on the desk with her name written neatly. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a map. The map showed the forest. A red mark circled a spot near the crates. Below it were simple words. You were not supposed to find this. But now you must understand. Maya stared at the map for a long time. They had told her to stay away. Yet now they were pulling her back. She knew one thing clearly. This story was not finished. The forest still held answers. And soon she would be forced to return. Maya sat at her kitchen table late into the night. The map lay open in front of her. The red circle seemed to glow under the weak light. Her thoughts moved in slow circles. She had been told to stay away from the forest. Yet the message and the map told a different story. Someone wanted her to return. Someone wanted her to see more. Maya felt fear but also determination. She knew that avoiding the truth would not free her. Questions would follow her everywhere. Sleep would never come if she stayed silent. The next morning she packed carefully. Water, food, a flashlight, and her phone. She dressed in dark, simple clothes. She left a note at home saying she went out for the day. Maya walked toward the forest again. Her steps felt heavier than before. The trees looked the same but felt different. The silence greeted her like an old secret. She followed the map slowly. Every mark and curve felt deliberate. This was not a random drawing. It was made by someone who knew the forest well. As she moved deeper she noticed signs she missed before. Small symbols carved into stones. Branches bent to point directions. The forest was full of guidance she never saw. After hours of careful walking she reached the marked area. The crates were gone. The ground looked disturbed. Fresh soil covered old marks. Maya felt a strange mix of relief and worry. Whatever was stored here had been moved. But the map led further. She continued walking with slow steps. Soon she reached a hidden clearing. In the center stood a structure partly underground. Metal walls reflected little light. It blended perfectly into the land. Maya hid behind a tree and observed. Two people stood near the entrance. They spoke quietly and moved with purpose. They did not look like guards. After some time they left in a vehicle. The sound faded slowly. Maya waited longer to be sure. Then she moved closer. The entrance door was unlocked. That surprised her. She hesitated but stepped inside. Cool air wrapped around her. Inside was a narrow corridor. Lights turned on automatically. The walls were clean and smooth. This place was well maintained. She followed the corridor into a large room. Screens covered one wall. Maps, data, and numbers filled them. The forest appeared in many angles. Maya realized this place watched everything. Movements, paths, and even people. The forest was under constant observation. Nothing happened without being seen. She moved carefully between tables. Documents lay neatly arranged. Some mentioned transport and storage. Others listed dates and locations. She did not understand everything. But one thing became clear. This operation was about control. Control of movement and information. A screen suddenly changed. A camera showed Maya standing inside. Her breath stopped. A voice filled the room. Calm and familiar. "You came back," the voice said. Maya turned slowly. The man from the library stood near the door. His expression was calm, as if he expected her. "I had to know," Maya said. The man nodded slightly. "Curiosity is powerful," he replied. He explained slowly. This place was part of a monitoring network, used to protect sensitive materials. Materials that could not fall into wrong hands. The forest was chosen for isolation. Few people and hard access. The crates were temporary storage. Now they were moved elsewhere. Maya listened carefully. "Why show me the map?" she asked. The man looked at her seriously. "Because you were tested," he said. "You stayed calm. You did not speak. You did not run to authorities." Maya felt anger rise. "You watched me. You followed me," she said. "Yes," he replied calmly. He explained that sometimes ordinary people were needed. People who could see without power or bias. People who could be trusted quietly. Maya shook her head. "I did not agree to this," she said. The man nodded again. "That is true. But now you know. And knowing brings choice." He offered her two paths. She could walk away and forget. Or she could help observe and report. No danger, no weapons, no force. Just watching and noticing changes. Reporting unusual activity. Helping keep balance. Maya thought deeply. Her life before already felt distant. She knew she would never forget this place. Ignoring it would not bring peace. She asked one final question. "What happens if I refuse?" The man answered honestly. "Nothing. But the forest will remain. And questions will remain with you." Maya looked around the room. She saw the truth clearly now. This was not about fear. It was about responsibility. She took a deep breath. "I will help. But on my terms," she said. The man smiled slightly. "That is why you were chosen." He handed her a small device. Simple and silent. It would allow secure contact. Nothing more. Maya walked out of the structure later that day. The forest felt different again. Less threatening and more alive. She was no longer lost. As she reached the edge, she looked back once. The trees stood quietly. Secrets remained hidden beneath them. And now she was part of that secret. Maya returned home as the sky began to darken. The forest stood quiet behind her. She felt tired but clear-minded for the first time in many days. Her choice had been made and there was no turning back. At home she placed the small device on the table. It looked simple and harmless. No lights and no sound. Yet it connected her to something much larger. That night she slept deeply. No messages arrived. No strange sounds woke her. Her dreams were calm and steady. The next morning Maya woke early. Sunlight filled the room softly. She felt different inside. Not afraid and not confused. She went to work as usual. The library felt peaceful again. Books rested quietly on shelves. People moved in calm routines. During the day, Maya paid attention in a new way. She observed people and patterns. She noticed who came and went. She listened without suspicion but with care. Nothing unusual happened that day. No messages appeared. No strangers approached her. Life continued normally. Days passed slowly. Maya returned to the forest only when guided. She never went alone without purpose. Each visit taught her something new. She learned how the forest changed with time. Which paths were natural and which were altered. Which sounds belonged and which did not. The forest became a map she could read. She never carried anything dangerous. She never faced harm. Her role was quiet and simple. Observe, notice, and report calmly. One evening the device activated softly. A short message appeared. Activity detected near the northern ridge. Please observe. Maya prepared carefully. She dressed simply and packed water. She moved into the forest with steady steps. Fear did not follow her this time. She reached the ridge before sunset. From a distance she watched quietly. A vehicle moved slowly along an old path. It stopped and turned back. Maya took note of the time and direction. She did not approach. She did not interfere. She let the moment pass. Later she reported what she saw. The response was brief. Noted. Thank you. She realized something important then. This work was not about control. It was about balance. Preventing chaos without creating fear. Weeks passed and nothing dramatic happened. Life felt normal again. Yet Maya knew the forest held layers beneath the surface. Layers she now understood. One afternoon she met the man again. This time not in secret. They sat in a quiet public place. People passed without noticing them. You did well, he said calmly. Maya nodded. I only watched. She replied. That is enough, he said. He explained that the operation near the forest was ending. The area would return to nature. Monitoring would slowly reduce. The forest would breathe freely again. Maya felt relief. She had hoped this day would come. She asked if she was still needed. For now, no. The man replied. Live your life. But remember what you learned. Maya smiled slightly. She understood. That evening she walked near the forest edge one last time. She did not enter. She stood quietly and listened. The wind moved gently through trees. The forest no longer felt like a mystery. It felt like a place that trusted her. Secrets rested peacefully beneath the ground. They no longer demanded answers. Maya turned away and walked home. Her life moved forward. She carried the experience quietly inside her. Not as fear, but as strength. Sometimes she would think about the crates. About the moment her life changed. She realized how close she had been to panic. And how calm had guided her instead. Maya continued working at the library. She helped people find stories and knowledge. She smiled more often. Her nights were peaceful. The forest remained where it always was. Quiet and watchful. A place of nature and hidden truth. A place that changed one woman forever. Maya was no longer lost. She had walked through fear and returned stronger. Some secrets are not meant to be spoken. Some are meant to shape who we become.